Megan Thee Stallion's image is taking a major lick because after garnering public sympathy by quitting the Moulin Rouge show 2 weeks early to deal with the heartbreak of being cheated on, Megan was allegedly right back outside doing hot girl stuff.
This is not good because the comments are commenting and the people are not happy. They are saying that she is showing the world that he made the right decision. There are so many people now who are saying, oh, this was a plot. Mm-hmm. She wanted to quickly rush this man into something that he was not ready for. And then when she didn't get what she wanted immediately, then she takes to social media and she puts that out there. Whereas before people are saying his life was very unproblematic and he wasn't out there exposed like that. And so the ladies are chiming in and they are saying that she went there to do that to that man on social media. She went there to expose him because she felt she got played. And I was really surprised because when I read some of the earlier comments, you know, people were trying to just fend for her and, you know, make her out to be the victim and everything. And then there were other people saying that, oh, how could he do this to her? Look at her. And then some of the other ladies, even, you know, some of our major people that we know were coming out and they were saying that Meg did this to herself. They said that this girl truly showed her colors when all of a sudden she tells the people that she's going to take a break and that, oh, she is so hurt. She is so devastated, allegedly. And so she's going to take a break from this. But then here she is and we see and people are like, you know what? I knew it all the time.
Yeah, it made people kind of think back to what happened in her more recent past with that whole Gayle King thing. When she initially went on the Gayle King show after what happened with Tory Lanez, and, you know, Gayle asked her point blank, outright, what did she have relations with that man? And Megan said no. Only to have to come back later after the trial, after being under oath and admitting it. She comes back later in her own platform and says, yeah, she did. But instead of apologizing for not being truthful at the time because of embarrassment, she ends up calling Gayle King out of her name. And that had people looking at her, regardless of what they felt about what the incident with Tory Lanez, her acting out and her response to being caught telling the untruth about that, and to call Gayle King out her name because Megan got caught being untruthful, it showed the character that she was working with. And this type of behavior right now, how she basically was saying, oh, she needs a break because of he did this and he treated her horribly, and you know, she had to deal with his mood swings and he was lying, you know, all that stuff that she was saying that he was doing to her, that made her have to need a break. So she goes and quits the Moulin Rouge show 2 weeks early. So that's putting them, you know, in an interesting situation. But they were okay with it because, oh, she's dealing with this. This is so heartbreaking for her. You know, the people were standing up, giving her, you know, a standing ovation because she got emotional that day after when she performed right after the breakup. And, you know, so people were feeling some kind of way. And then only to catch her back outside when basically if you have strength enough to be out in these streets outside, then you could go and put on that performance that her fans have paid to see because people had bought their tickets in advance. But it harks back to that type of character that we saw with that whole Gayle King incident. And it makes people really think about, well, was this relationship really real on her part?
Exactly. And a lot of the women are coming forth and they are saying what it is. And they're saying exactly what we have seen, the character. They're saying that she tried to push this man into something he was not ready for because she wanted to clean up her image. And I wasn't surprised to hear it because many of the ladies are stepping forth and they're ready for truth. They're ready for truth because look, they have been through some things themselves and they see how it turns out, and they quickly recognize this in Megan. And the people were saying that we want the younger generations to have a better example, and we want our children to not think that all they have to do is have a great physique and think that they're prettier than anyone else, and that they can do things with an individual that only they are supposed to be doing with their spouses, that this is the way to go. We want better for our young people.
Right.
And I am so happy to see many of the women coming forth and they're speaking truth on this matter, because they try to be closed off. People try to shout them down about, oh, but this is Meg the Stallion. It's like, and this is the lady that has set this example out here, and we want better for our people.
Exactly. It's not about being out here doing any and everything and giving these men access, playing house, all of that, and thinking that, okay, yeah, this is going to get them the ring. First of all, that shouldn't even be the goal of being the best that a woman can be. She should be wanting to be all this for herself, and the men will come and follow. It puts a false image out there of what young girls and women should actually be doing with their lives, because it's not all about getting a man or keeping a man, but what happens when they have this image in front of them of all this hot girl stuff and baddie activity. They end up putting themselves in positions where they stop respecting themselves. They stop valuing themselves. They stop feeling that they deserve better. Because what happens is they end up thinking that just because a man was nice to them, we all saw those clips with Megan saying how he was so nice to her. She'd never experienced anything like that with others she was dating. That man was just doing regular dating stuff. It wasn't anything, so special and spectacular. He just didn't call her out her name. He didn't make fun of her. He treated her respectfully in his conversation. But because she wasn't used to that, because of all this baddie activity and hot girl behavior, she ended up thinking that this man possibly was so sprung on her that she could get him into marriage like that. Because her image had already taken a major lick before, especially with that Gayle King thing coming out. And what happened after that, she did need to clean it up. She did. It's like her image almost did a 180 with this whole thing with Klay. She went from supposedly being outside doing all this stuff with the previous people to her now cooking and cleaning and, putting on these nice little outfits and golfing and all that stuff, trying to act like something that she wasn't. And because obviously she wasn't, because the very thing that she does once it's over is go right back to the streets, go right back outside. So she ended up doing all that, thinking that, this was going to turn the tide of public opinion. That's what it seems like now, because she just did the same thing with this whole, she needs a break, dropping the Moulin Rouge show, and then here she is outside again.
And it's so wonderful that so many, I would call them powerful women, are stepping forth now, and they're speaking truth. They are telling it like it is to our young people and saying, this is not the example you want to set. This is not who you want to be. You have greater purpose for your life than this. And I'm just so happy to see these smart, strong, powerful women stepping forth for our younger generation and showing them, hey, you are so much better than this.
Exactly. And hopefully with Megan too, she's going to come out of this type of behavior, this thought thinking that she has to give all of herself into these relationships with these men. Because whatever her motivation was, she needs to be good on the inside before any of it makes any sense for her on the outside. And hopefully she's going to learn that from this, because anyone could see they were trying to make Klay to be something that he wasn't. Now, I'm not saying he's a horrible guy or anything, but he certainly wasn't a Russell Wilson.
He was not a Russell Wilson.
In no way.
I'm like, why are you all comparing this? He was not a Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a man of faith. Russell Wilson is a respectful man. And before his marriage, he was a respectful man who knew what he was all about.
And what Megan couldn't see was that wasn't what Klay was.
Klay is not that.
And that is what all that hot girl activity and that baddie girl behavior and all that stuff, that it clouds their minds so that they don't see clearly what type of men they're even dealing with. But hopefully let this be, the eye opener for Megan and all the hotties out there who are, looking at her as an example. You can respect and value yourself. It has nothing to do with the men out here. You retain your value by keeping yourself to yourself. Get to know who you are and what you desire.
And I just want to thank our wonderful, powerful women who came forth and started speaking truth in power. That's it. That's all.
All right, let us know, what do you think in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and hype up the video for more. Thanks for watching.